Hi, it's Yash, and I want to talk about why people with Tourette's syndrome swear. Okay? Now, I'm not going to give a medical, I'm not going to quote, some medical explanation about it or anything. I'm going to give you my own inner experience and my articulation of how this works inside. Like, what causes this weird urge to curse or to swear? Why does that happen? Because I always like to hear from people, with these kind of big questions or existential questions, you can say, which means it's beyond the mind, it's beyond the level of mind to try to understand and figure out. I mean, the best that people can do is give, we can share, like the doctors can share in very certain limited angles and perspectives, about this. But do we really know why? Does anybody really know why? Does anybody really understand how the brain and the nervous system actually works and functions? Not even close. I mean, this is such a complex, you can say human machine that we're living in. We as consciousness are driving this human car. I have to make that distinction, right? Because this is the whole point of the channel, is to realize who we are beyond the level of this body and mind. Because who we really are, which is just consciousness, but see, that can't just be a word. This has to actually be experienced, what that means. When we realize that's who we are, it doesn't so matter much with the body if it's imbalanced, if it has problems, etc., because it's not who we are, you see. This is why this is the main medicine and the main solution or main cure or whatever you want to call it to such deep chronic neurological disorders, is to realize who we are beyond that level. Otherwise, how are we going to fix it? It can't be fixed on the level where the problem exists on, So the doctors will give some explanation. Well, it's because, and use these fancy words. I don't know. When I was a kid, I would be reading. I mean, like 10 years old, I'd be trying to read about Tourette's because I want to understand it. But even though I didn't understand the words, I just didn't like the whole. It's like, how can a doctor who doesn't have Tourette's tell me, or cervical dystonia, tell me why I have it or why I do certain symptoms, I don't know. Never made sense to me. So why do people with Tourette's swear? To put it simply, I used to have that tic, and it was because the pressure, it's like the inner pressure that will feel those that people with this kind of imbalance in the nervous system feels. When that pressure gets so strong, it's like we want to curse. It's two reasons. Number one, we're just pissed off and frustrated because there's so much damn pressure inside. It's like, God damn, why do I got to feel this all the time? Like this sucks. And so something's like wants to voice that. And the other thing is, if the pressure, it gets so, it's like a pressure cooker. It gets so intense that you want to just. It's like sometimes there's certain words that just feel better than others. Like when we're in this turmoil state inside, if we say fuck, it feels somehow more appropriate than if we say love. You see what I mean? So there's also that dynamic. But more important than why people with Tourette's swear is, what can we do? Like, what can we do about it? Or a better question, is there anything that we can do about it? Is there anything that will help with this? And when I'm saying, is there anything that will help, I'm talking about a natural means. I'm not talking about pharmaceutical medications or deep brain stimulation or any of these radical operations. I'm talking, is there anything that we can use nature? Can nature help us at all on any level? Either via diet or certain plant medicines, certain lifestyle habits, spiritual practice. Is there anything that will help? Yes. Yes, definitely something that will help. I don't propose any cure or anything. There's no need. Just you get to a place. Isn't it good enough if we get to a place where we're balanced enough to where it's just fine? We're not being tortured anymore by these symptoms. And I know exactly what that's like. I spent decades in that state. Okay, so just because I don't look like I'm going through that hell now doesn't mean that I haven't went through it before. I went through it over and over and over and over again. So I know definitely what I'm talking about. I know about the hell, and I know about coming out of the hell. So isn't this a person you want to talk to? I was looking for myself for so long when I was growing up with this shit, and I couldn't find anybody that could share with me on this level. I couldn't find anybody. And now that I've on some level became the person that I was looking for, I can't really find anybody to talk to. So it's like, what's going on, God? It's all good though. I'm not, I actually don't have any strong expectation or demand that, I find people, and I'm not trying to show the way and nothing. I'm simply sharing. This is actually therapeutic for me. This is why I'm sharing this, and if I can help a person or two in the process, good. But I don't have any expectations how this is going to unfold. Actually, I have two channels. I have this channel and then my other channel, Beyond the Alchemy. The link is in the description. That channel is doing better. And I feel like, I was telling somebody this the other day, it's like I had it backwards. I thought that once I thought that people with neurological disorders and with Tourettes or cervical dystonia or chronic pain, deep disorders, deep imbalances, I thought those would be more my audience than not. But it turns out that the people who don't struggle with these things are actually are being my audience more. They're more of the. I'm connecting more with those people. And I think it's just because these kind of imbalances that we're talking about with the nervous system, they're just so deep, and most people, the shit is so bad that we need to take some kind of, our mind is tuned on medical solutions and answers and that type of thing. And because it's like the holistic or natural way of doing things just doesn't seem strong enough. And we need some relief right now because the hell can be so bad. So that's my take on why there doesn't seem to be many people with these disorders that are making videos about holistic solutions and things that help, and there's not much of an audience for it either. So, but I can tell you, I've already made videos on this. What I eat is huge. The chemistry that I take into my body can either soothe my nervous system or exacerbate it, the symptoms. And when I'm taking in easy to digest chemistry that doesn't take up a lot of life force to digest, then that surplus life force is my body naturally directs it to my nervous system. It's the intelligence of the body. It happens automatic. So then when I have more life force in my nervous system, I have less symptoms. It's like my body uses this life force to ground itself, to repair itself. And so diet's a big thing. Hydrating, alkalizing chemistry. Non-processed foods, easy to digest foods. I love organic fruits and vegetables, fruit juices and vegetable juices and tonics. I like to drink that all day, and then at night I have a nice grounding vegetarian meal with sufficient earth element, because we have to ground the nervous system after supplying it with all this high electricity that we're getting from these these other foods that I'm sharing, the fruits and the tonics, that has to be grounded. Otherwise, the nervous system can spasm because of just too much electricity, you know. So when I'm eating like that, you eat like that and tell me how you feel, you know. I mean, it works. And then when I take out the stimulants in, the candy or the chocolate or the sugar, fruit sugar's okay. That's a different level. I'm talking about white sugar and processed sugar and all this junk. When I take that out of my diet, you see, our nervous system, it can't be overstimulated. It's already stimulated just by nature. The thing is already spasming, obviously. So we don't need to do things on top of that to make it spasm more. You know, cacao and the chocolates and just sweets. We got to be careful of that. And especially, how do you say it, aspartame, any of this fake sweetener stuff. We need to eat really clean. If we think this stuff doesn't make a difference, I'm telling you, it makes a big difference. So diet. I made a video about preserving your sexual energy or semen retention. Semen is this is one of the highest, most potent medicines that our body makes, you know. And for women, it's ovum. But either way, sexual energy. When that gets, and see, this is the thing, when we're in pain, it's going to be a natural tendency to want to escape that pain. Well, what's an easy, free way to do it? It can be to masturbate or to go into sexual fantasies or porn or whatever. So then that is very destructive to our nervous system. And we're losing this precious sexual energy that our body makes. If we preserve that, the body will, again, use that energy to help heal itself, to help ground itself. And then your symptoms will be less, you know. Lifestyle habits, just you can do introspection and see, like, any bad habit you're doing that has a negative effect, that's keeping you a slave, that's keeping you small, that's sucking out your life force. That's called a bad habit or a negative habit. It's not a moral thing. It's all about energy. We need life force. We need sufficient life force. With bad habits or negative habits, it sucks our life force out. And then we already have a deficit of life force in our nervous system, so we need as much as we can get. So therefore, we got to let go of these bad habits and start doing good habits. Good habits, going to the beach or in nature, or like where I am now. Feeling in your heart, if there's some movement to be of service in some way to the world or community, do that. That gives energy. Helping people gives energy. It gets you out of yourself. Then we're not so self-absorbed in, oh, my problems in my life and this sucks and everything else. We're out of that, you know. There's some. It's a magic spiritual principle about serving others. At the same time, we got to be. It's not if we're in too bad of a situation or shape, then we got to take care of ourselves first before we can do that. So we have to use discernment there. You know, it's not just I'll tell everybody, you know, just get out of your bed and start serving people. You know, it doesn't work like that. We have to. I'm just sharing that this is a principle that, when applied, when it's the right time, will take us further in our recovery and in our healing journey. You know, self-inquiry or a spiritual practice, this is important after our body is has a semblance of balance. I mean, we can start anytime doing some kind of practice that's helping us realize who we are beyond this body-mind. That means, like, so let's say we have a car and we're driving the car around. It's clear to us we're not this car. We're just driving this car, your automobile, right? This is the same principles true with this body. This body isn't who we are. It's like if the body is inside the consciousness and the consciousness is inside the body, because the consciousness is everywhere. And so it's like the consciousness has localized itself in this human body and it's kind of driving it around, you know. But it's like we think this is really who we are. And so then any negative sensations or symptoms we have, the fact that we really think this body is who we are, exacerbates those symptoms. I don't know where people are at with their level of spiritual capacity or maturity for this type of spiritual practice, but I can say this: the more that my body and mind got restored to at least a semblance of balance, the more easy it was to apply the spiritual practice. And the more that this spiritual practice becomes actually alive in my heart and real, then this is the main thing that will help reduce the symptoms of Tourette's or cervical dystonia or whatever you have. Higher and better than that is, even if your symptoms don't reduce, there is a peace with them. This is the paradoxical thing that nobody can explain. You've realized who you are, that you're not really this body that has these symptoms, and so something relaxes even though the symptoms are happening. Yeah. So anyway, I don't know who this is for, how many people resonate, or if anybody will watch this, but you're welcome. And I mean, you're welcome to watch this. And let me know if you have any questions, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Okay, have a good day.